debate. Muddling debate is a symptom, it's one element of it. Modern democracies function because there is an institutional balance in a country. Institutions that are independent, that operate independently. That independence is being attacked in India. So there is one big mother institution called the RSS that is penetrating all Indian institutions. There's not a single one that is not under attack, and it's systematically done. And you can, the judiciary, the press, the bureaucracy, election commission, every single institution is systematically being filled by people who have a particular ideology and belong to a certain institution. So that's that I would not say eroding, I would say strangling. And that is what is happening. As a politician, I didn't really appreciate this, 5-7 years ago. But as a politician, I actually can only do my job if I have institutional support. I get support from the judiciary. I get support from the election commission. I get support from a whole number of institutions that actually protect the conversation, the debate. If I don't have that support, I literally can't do my job. And frankly, I didn't realize how profound this is until I'm actually faced with it. I'll give you examples. I mean, in debates in parliament, the mic is shut off. I mean, that's the extent of it, right? So we are not allowed to speak in parliament. We don't have recourse with the courts. We are sort of having the RSS BJP combine has this massive financial advantage, 10:1, 20:1 advantage. Businesses are told, listen, you cannot support the opposition. So it's a full-scale assault on the democratic space. There is only one institution. I mean, today, members of parliament came from Manipur. And they said, look, we have a governor there, and she just doesn't do her job. She doesn't think she's a constitutional post. She thinks she's a ideological political post. And, there's nothing we can do. We just go there and then we come back. Pondicherry, the government went. The lady who was put in charge over there, completely subverting the democratic process openly, not allowing bills to pass, not allowing stuff to move, simply because she belongs to the RSS. So what the crony capitalists figured out is that the RSS is a sort of institution that can be used to capture the political system. And the trade is very much like in Saudi Arabia. So in Saudi Arabia, the Wahabis say, listen, you let us handle the institutional structure of Mecca, and you handle the Saudis, the royal family handles the finances of the oil. So there's a split. This is exactly what's happening here. So the deal is RSS, you do whatever you want with India's institutions. We will give the Prime Minister full media access, social media access. The Prime Minister will give us all the businesses we need, and together we'll run the country. The whole education system is being targeted, right? Rewriting of history, subtle rewriting of social norms, subtle attack on the ideas of the constitution, subtle attack on the ideas of equality. So these are values that India just requires. Modern India cannot exist without these values, right? So absolutely you need to reclaim this space. What is going on is essentially an attack on the idea of equality, right? And by the way, the RSS began the attack through their schools. So much like the radical Islamists use their madrasas in Pakistan, much like that, the RSS uses its schools to push a particular worldview. Right? Nobody asked the question, where does the RSS get the money to run hundreds of thousands of schools from? These are not profitable schools. So nobody is asking the question, right? So absolutely, it's a capture of the Indian education system, and the Indian education system has got to be taken back from their hands. Essentially, behind the sort of bluster, what the RSS and Narendra Modi are trying to do is once again reinforce the idea of caste in India. That's what they're doing. That's what the project is, right? The project is that everybody should know their space. A Dalit should know his space. A woman should know her space. And a Muslim should know his space. And a Sikh should know his space. And that's what they're doing. They're organizing space. If you listen to some of Mohan Bhagwat's talks, he talks like that. He's like, we are organizing Indian society and everybody's got a space. And everybody's got to fit into this conceptual space that the RSS imagines. It's not a space it's not a view of space that you and me imagine, which is flat. It's a hierarchy on top of which sits Mr. Narendra Modi. Number 2 is Mr. Mohan Bhagwat. Number 3 is Mr. Amit Shah. It goes down like that. And that's what they're trying to do. Look, I'll tell you what a large part of the problem is that large parts of India simply won't accept it. So they will try to impose this idea, and then they will get a reaction from large parts of India that just simply don't agree. So Mr. Mohan Bhagwat's framework of the world, for example, is not acceptable to the Tamils. It's simply not. It's not acceptable to the Sikhs. Right? It's not acceptable to the Northeast. It's not acceptable to the Keralites. So they're suddenly going to find that the reaction is going to come subnationally, and it's going to be violent. So what the Congress actually did is it stitched these groups together. I went on a tour to Tamil Nadu and I was telling them, I was like, look, if I say that Tamil Nadu belongs to India, then I have to say that India belongs to Tamil Nadu. That's the contract. I cannot say that Tamil Nadu is India, but India is something, that Tamil Nadu does not fully own. I can't say that. That's why in our constitution, if you look, we are called a union of states. We came together. It's a negotiated settlement. And we all came together and we said, we agree with this constitution. Fiddle with the constitution. A lot of those people will say, sorry, what are you doing? So they're actually destroying the country. And we're fighting them. And we're fighting them, with they're powerful.